Hello everyone, I'm Vikramaditya and welcome to GH SOFTECH. In this session, we are going to discuss about the SAP BTP ABAP interview question and answers, which are the latest ones. I'm covering just 20 question answers here, and if you want more than 500 question answers, you can contact me and I'll be sharing it with you. Now, what is SAP BTP? The Business Technology Platform is a platform that combines database and database management, analytics, application development, and integration into a single platform. Now, at this point of time, you can think of SAP BTP as your Google Play Store, where we can just download your applications whichever you require, and then you can start using it. So similar to that, we have a lot of applications being combined together and kept under the BTP, and this is a completely cloud-based application. You cannot have an installed version of it, so you have to take it in the online. And you can connect back to the database as well. So it has got its own database, and it will be helpful for us to do the side-by-side extensibilities, especially for S4HANA Cloud or for S4HANA on-premise as well, as a following the principles of SAP's latest innovation, that we need to have the core as clean. So clean core is the concept. So for that, we are encouraged to do all the developments in the BTP environment. Now, what is ABAP environment in SAP BTP? It is a cloud-based environment where developers can build and run ABAP applications on SAP BTP. To do this, we normally have to install the Eclipse from the eclipse.org for a Java developers, and then we have to install the ADT ABAP development toolkit, with which it will help us to connect back to the SAP BTP. When we start creating an ABAP cloud package, automatically it will prompt us to link to the backend either BTP server or the SAP S4HANA cloud. These are the two ways in which we can connect to the cloud, and we can start working on it. And in the ABAP cloud or in ABAP cloud in the ABAP cloud projects, whether we connect back to the BTP environment or S4HANA cloud environment, we'll not be able to create programs. We'll just be able to create an executable form of object-oriented programming classes. So we'll be using the classes in the place of programs. So we'll discuss about that later. So how is ABAP in BTP different from on-premise ABAP? So ABAP in BTP supports modern development using Eclipse, RESTful application programming, and works with cloud-optimized libraries and services. As I was discussing, like, there are few concepts which we have in conventional ABAP which are being dropped when we start working on the BTP environment. We realize that there are few things which are not there, and the few things are not encouraged. Like function modules are not at all encouraged. Like in the place of function modules, SAP suggests us to go with the classes, which are standard classes. And even in the CDS also, we'll be going ahead and creating the CDS root view entity and view entity in the place of normal CDS. So a normal CDS is completely obsolete. It doesn't work in the BTP environment. So there are a lot of things like that changes. So I'm going to discuss about that again. So what is RESTful application programming in SAP BTP ABAP? So RESTful application programming is a framework for developing cloud-ready Fiori applications using ABAP. So in the past, what used to happen is we had a lengthy process of going ahead with the OData and connecting back to the system, and then we'll publish them into the Fiori application. So there was a gateway concept. So there are too many things that are very involved. Now here we have a simple concept of creating an application and just launching it in the Fiori from here itself, from the RESTful application programming. So a RESTful application program adheres to all the REST application principles. Now, what is ADT? The ABAP Development Toolkit is an Eclipse-based IDE used to develop ABAP programs, particularly for cloud development. As I was discussing, when we install the Eclipse front-end from the eclipse.org website, then what happens is, like, first it will prompt us to install any of the applications. So we'll be seeing only Eclipse for Java developers, not SAP Eclipse for ABAP. There will be no option like that. So we'll be first installing the from eclipse.org. We'll be installing the Eclipse for Java developers. Then we go to the help and add software, install new software, and then we'll be going ahead and giving the link of the HANA development toolkit, the ABAP development toolkit from the tools.hana.sap.com. So there will be a link, website link, so which we need to give it there, and then we need to install the ABAP development toolkit from there. So only once we install it and successfully, then we'll be able to work on the ABAP environment. So we'll, in the Windows perspectives, we'll be getting the option of ABAP, and then we can start working on that perspective. So what are the key layers in RESTful application programming? RESTful application programming consists of the data modeling and behavior layer, business service provisioning layer, and the service consumption layer. What is a behavior definition in RESTful application programming? It defines how data can be created, updated, or deleted through an interface. So what exactly happens in the RESTful application programming is we can actually build the CDS on top of the database tables, and then we can go ahead and expose the CDS to the front end in the Fiori. But meanwhile, what if you want to update the data from the screens? See, in module pool programming, what we used to do is we used to update the data from the screens, right? So now the module pool programming is completely obsolete. So how do you update the data into the backend? If you would like to update the data from the screens in the Fiori, we can actually do that in the behavior definition. So we need to write the logic in the behavior definition in such a way that some data is been updated, deleted, modified, anything in the front end screen that gets reflected back in the database tables in the backend. So that's what we do in the behavior definition. So what is the use of CDS views in SAP BTP? Core data services provides a way to define and consume semantically rich data models. So CDS functionality in BTP does not change much than when compared to the old CDS that we were using. So it basically enables us to do some manipulation of data or addition of data, combination of data, and writing some logic before we expose the data into the front end. So we normally do all the same activities which we used to do in the previous CDS views. So how do you expose CDS views as OData in SAP BTP? So the old way is using @OData.publish annotation in the CDS, but now we always use the service definition and service binding concept, wherein if you have a CDS, we have to right click on the CDS, create a service definition, then right click on the service definition, create a service binding. Automatically it will be exposed to the Fiori application or the web IDE, and we can launch that and we can see the data in the Fiori. It's a very simple process that we have right now. So what are the communication scenarios in SAP BTP environment? Like predefined configuration to enable secure communication between different systems or services. So what is service binding in RESTful application programming? As I was telling you, the service binding connects a service definition to a protocol like OData v2, v4, and makes it available for use. So once we create a service definition, we need to build a service binding on top of it, which will enable us to connect. So when we are creating the service binding, it will ask us like whether do you want to go for OData v2 or OData v4. Accordingly, we have to select that and we have to create that particular process. What is the ABAP RESTful application programming model? So RAP, a programming model for building efficient and enterprise grade Fiori applications using ABAP on BTP. Again, having said that, RESTful application programming is based on top of REST principles. So REST is a very common term that is used in the software. You can just explore what is REST and what are the principles of REST, and the same thing is adhered by SAP. They adopted this concept and then they built the RESTful application programming, ABAP RAP. So what is the purpose of EML in RAP? So the entity manipulation language is used to access RESTful application programming based on business objects in a transactional context. So if you want to use the data in the form of a transactional context, we can make use of the EML, the entity manipulation language. What are the different options for BTP ABAP applications? So applications are deployed to the ABAP environment within SAP BTP using transport management services. So this enables us to move from one sub account to another one. So what is XCO library in ABAP BTP? So a library in SAP BTP ABAP environment used for code-based development of data models, APIs, and more is the XCO library. So can we use classical DynPro in a BTP ABAP? No, we cannot use the module pool programming, dynamic programming, screen programming, dialog programming, DynPro. These are all the old concepts. All these are the same names of same concept called screen programming, or we also used to do it, refer to it as a dialog programming. It is no more possible in the BTP environment. We have to use the UI applications only. We have to build UI applications, or we have to use the existing UI applications which are presented to us in the form of Fiori. So Fiori applications can be modified according to requirement by the end users as well, just by some few drag and drops. So how to manage dependencies in SAP BTP ABAP? Using packages and dependencies maintained in the ABAP environment, we can make use of that. So what is transport management services? So it is used for transporting applications and changes across BTP sub accounts. So what is the use of SAP Cloud Connector? It allows secure access from the BTP applications to on-premise systems. What are the supported databases for ABAP in BTP? So only SAP HANA is supported for SAP ABAP in BTP environment. Thanks for watching this video. We're going to connect back in the next next session with more informative concepts. So if you like this video, please do connect back to us, subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and comment in the chat what you need in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Jai Hind.